Hey guys,
welcome to Hex.
Hey guys, welcome to Hex and Chill.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Lou and
Cat. Meow.
So we are going to be watching the movie The Substance.
Ooh.
If you have seen it, please stay tuned for what our thoughts are. If you haven't seen it, pause, go watch it because it's a good one. For real.
This is another movie that we are going to cover like we did with Heretic, where we watch a little bit out of a time. I know I didn't say Hereditary, guys. Are you proud of me? Thumbs up in the chat.
Okay, chat. Thanks.
Yeah, chat. We love you. But we are going to watch it a little at a time and then kind of pause every 20 minutes and give our thoughts on what's happening. It's another one of those thrillers where you don't really know what's happening. I think you're going to kind of guess, suspenseful. Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't even know if I watched the preview for this, to be honest.
I was going to say, I'm going to this totally blind. The only thing I know about this movie is my partner said I might not like it because it's body horror.
Yeah, body horror is... So yeah, trigger warning. If you're going to listen to this episode or if you're going to watch the movie, there is body horror in this film.
Yes. If you are sensitive to body image, that sort of thing, that also is a thing. But I'm really excited for a rewatch. And I'm also really excited to pick y'all's brains about it because it's really cool. Another thing going into it, I think this is not a spoiler at all. Really cool cinematography, but also all of the things that you're going to see is real special effects makeup, not CGI.
Oh, nice.
So
That's dope.
I am really invested in it.
All I know, it has Demi Moore, Scarlett Letter, who was married to Ashton Kutcher. I don't know much about Demi Moore other than those weird facts.
That is so obscure that's the movie that you thought of. I think of like G.I. Joe and...
G.I. Joe?
Or sorry, G.I. Jane. Sorry.
G.I. Jane.
That's worse.
G.I. Jane. No, she was... Wait, am I
Every
crazy?
time I think of G.I. Jane, I only think of Chris Rock and Will Smith, so...
Yeah, when he got...
Yeah.
Am I crazy right now?
No, I think you're correct.
You're probably right.
She was in a movie and she shaved her head.
Yeah, it was probably that.
That's probably that then.
Actually, I have a fun story. Well, when we watch it,
We're going to watch all these movies that Shay knows and we don't, which is weird because listen, okay, Shay is really good at current movies. She watches a lot with her partner. They go out and see lots of movies in the theater. They rent a lot of movies. They're really into like the current movie world where like I have seen like all the old films, like some Shay hasn't seen, like she hasn't seen all the Lord of the Rings. Like I've seen all the Lord of the Rings, all the Batmans, all the Jurassic Parks, all the Indiana Jones.
Where Shay is educating us, and then where we get to educate Shay.
Today we'll be watching The Mummy with Brendan Fraser.
No, we should have done that when we did Practical Magic.
Oh,
I was the only one who hadn't seen it.
Oh, you know what we should
Bummer.
do? We should do Love and the Mystic one. With
Mystic Pizza.
Yeah, like a stupid one and talk about it.
Yeah.
That would be good.
But tonight we're going to be looking at body horror.
Yeah.
And not lovely pizza making like Mr. Pizza. That movie is not even that much about pizza.
Also, listeners, I want to put out there that we do have a special guest. They may or may not choose to speak, but you might hear laughter in the background.
Yes, that's Kat. She went on our trip with us. You've seen her face, so she's
You
part
may
of
or may not hear
here.
her voice.
Yeah. Do. Yeah, just stay tuned. Maybe you will hear her voice.
If you want to set up your sacred circle, please feel free to do so. We've got ours set up. Thank you, air. Thank you, fire. Thank you, water. And thank you, earth, to protect our souls as we watch this very creepy, interesting movie. And we will check back in with you in just a few moments.
Here we go.
All right. We're like 23 minutes in.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Sorry, there's a cat in
I was
my
like,
lap,
Louisa
and
took a
she
deep
is-
breath, so I was
know,
waiting
she's
for her.
also now about to jump off my lap. All right, so we're 23 minutes in, right off the bat. The way that they're filming and the things that we're focusing on, a lot of like the things that make me cringe.
Like all the food eating. He was eating like
Shrimp
crab and shrimp. No, it was crawdads.
Crawfish, yeah.
And you can see him sweating, and it's making you very uncomfortable.
I think there's also a lot of beginning nods to things that are going to happen, kind of setting up with that, trying to guess what's happening. Like they're already putting things out that I'm trying to figure out. They use a lot of like yellow. Very, very first shot is an egg separating itself into another egg. So it's the idea of cloning and making something more whole or younger.
Did you notice that like the yolks, like
one was completely round?
Yeah.
And then they
One was like
separated.
perfect.
Yeah.
The other one
Well-
was like still like kind of, but the second one
That
was
video
like,
she watched, same thing. The yellow ball was perfectly round and the other ball was a little bit like lumpy.
Yeah. And they're doing a very heavy emphasis on you are one. So I'm curious to see, they have to switch back every 7 days. What does that look like? What happens if they don't? It says there's no exception.
Yeah.
So I'm just interested to see where this goes.
Well,
down
and to
the line.
set up too, what we've seen so far is there's a woman named Elizabeth Spark.
Elizabeth
Oh.
Sparkle. Yep.
And she is
Sparkle.
like the first shot was a really great telling of someone who is at the peak of their fame, young, everybody loves them, by showing us a star from the
Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah. And how it's getting laid and she's on it and everyone's like, we love you, we love you, we love you. And then it slowly time passes and less people come take photos and it begins to crack and it begins to age and people forget about her. The example of like in Hollywood, when you go from being young and beautiful to an aging actor, how you can be forgotten or seen
Well, I
less
mean-
than, especially for women, especially for women.
Yeah, I mean, just being a woman in general, like even just watching when she's in the mirror when she has her makeup and she's crying, I just
Yeah,
want to go
you-
give her a hug and I want to be like, you are so beautiful. You don't need to try to look young because your beauty is in your wisdom. It's in your wrinkles and all of this stuff. But
In Hollywood,
we hate that. We need perfectly smooth skin. We need young.
because
We need
even no
all
matter
this.
how much if we believe that, there's still the world, the producer who's like, no, we don't want her anymore. She's too old. So like, even if we had the most
Yeah.
confidence in the world and thought we were beautiful,
I know.
you still get
And
notched
it's
down.
what sucks. And I fucking hate it.
I
Oh,
love that,
sorry.
like, you mentioned that because while we were watching, you were like, she looks so old.
Okay.
You very, very namely said that.
Yes.
It did have that weird back
one-
shot where she like all, yeah.
all her bones and everything's
Yes,
showing.
and-
I wouldn't just, I know that you weren't saying that to be like, oh my God, she's so old, like to be judgmental, but
No.
they're doing that on purpose.
Right.
And you're noticing it, but they're doing it on purpose because, I really like, just to add on to what you guys are saying, a woman who is the same age as Demi Moore is probably like a regular woman who is not an actress is going to look probably very different.
Yes.
Demi Moore, one of the most beautiful beings in Hollywood. Yes.
Absolutely.
And probably lots of work done,
True.
right?
Probably.
To keep the young appeal.
Absolutely. So sitting here watching this, thinking about that and also holding the tension of like, wow, you're making Demi Moore look really ugly right now. Like
Right.
really old and like not attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Which
true.
is, I just want you to hold that.
Yes.
As you continue watching.
I also want to
Dennis
know.
Quaid. Punch him in the face.
Oh my gosh.
Hate that
Already. Dennis Quaid is now the villain in this movie.
I met him.
Is he
Did
nice-
you?
Was he a nice fellow?
I
he
don't
do that?
really remember.
Did he eat crawfish in front of you?
No, but I threw a snowball at his kid and it made him cry.
You are why he's a villain.
Probably.
You are his villain story. His
I
origin
am.
story.
I'm his villain origin story. Oh my God. I'm also, when we're first watching the movie and everything, she's doing her workout stuff and she looks so beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
like, is this the person that we're thinking is old? But then it's when she's, I don't know. It was just that really sad when she was sitting at the bar and her back looked so gnarled. But also she was just in a fucking car accident.
Yeah, but it is showing
Well,
like the age
Yeah.
of like choosing to wear such a low
Yeah.
back dress and you being like, whoa, this would look
Yeah.
different on someone who's younger. And I think that's the point they're trying to show. I think they're going to do a lot with, I'm trying to figure out how this is going to happen because either it's going to be like she disappears into her younger self, almost like splitting into two, because I don't think one exists when the other one is not there, kind of like Severance. Like one is, so I'm trying to figure out how they're going to do this because the guy that we saw with the blue eyes, the nurse, is obviously handed her the
Right.
like, what is it? Not a
USB.
floppy disk.
USB,
Oh my God.
USB drive.
USB
A
drive.
floppy disk.
He was like, here's your floppy disk.
You're old. You probably have something to read this floppy disk.
You don't
Yeah.
make my.
You don't make money. Is that what
I was gonna say you don't make my disc floppy.
Oh, gosh, that's worse. He is obviously one of the the clone things. Like he has an older self. So
I'm really surprised that you got that so fast.
well, because his eyes
his
were so blue, he
eyeballs.
looked too young and perfect, and the thing on his arm is very either older.
True, but you hit that on the head, man. Because I did not get that the first time. Like, I mean, yeah, the first time I was like, I mean, he looks really crazy and like weird and like plastic surgery, but I was like, oh, they're just at a plastic surgeon's office. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he got a lot of work done.
Oh yeah, that's what you thought.
That's what I thought.
I don't know. The emphasis on his moly arm was too much for it just to be like.
Well, I think what I'm most surprised of is like how you said that. Was like, we're going to see an older version of that guy later on in the movie. And I was like,
Well, I was honestly wondering if she was going to have a flashback of if she knew him and like remembered seeing that mole. But I think it's foreshadowing and not doing a flashback.
Also, the scene of that really weird guy giving her his number, like I don't know if it was a use of like belittling her even more, like this really creepy guy she's getting a number for because she feels so unattractive that anybody telling her that she's beautiful, it just was weird because you're like, you're beautiful and famous, you do not need to find validation from this kind of person.
I also wonder if it's a belittling moment in that even though I know you, like I am a super famous person, the fact that you feel so comfortable walking up to me right now is like
Right.
actually crazy. Like I wonder if it was kind of like leaning more towards that and that's why she responds. Like she responds kindly.
She does,
But
but
like,
she didn't have to like take his number, like she
Yeah.
asked for it, you
Yeah.
know, because she was like, oh well, maybe if you give me a card, your number,
'Cause you
I don't
never
know. You
know.
could just be like, oh thank you, yeah, we'll get together.
But you also have to throw in the fact that as a woman, if you say no or say like
knows?
buzz
I
off,
mean,
you don't know what's gonna happen.
y'all
Sure.
were literally sitting over here like, it's giving me like
He's a
creeper
stalker.
guy. He's a
Yeah,
stalker.
yeah.
Like, you know, like
I'm gonna ask for his number and then have the ball in my court and then peace out.
Also, the director of this movie so far, the cinematography of really close up shots of faces and stuff too.
Yes.
Which adds to what Lou said about the grossness of like eating. But like that first shot of Dennis Quaid, like right where he's peeing in the urinal and it's like right close up to his nose and eye. And it's Dennis Quaid has beautiful eyes. Even as a villain, that blue is like breathtaking. Anyways, but like it's weird that they're doing these shots. It's very unique.
Yes, and there is
filming.
one of Demi Moore when she's sitting and there's a shadow over half of her face, and I just thought that was cool because you have the very light and then you have the dark, and it's a very close up of her face.
Oh, and my favorite shot so far is when she puts in the floppy disk. Sorry, I had to say it. When she puts in the USB into the TV and it starts this like clip that they've sent her, it zooms into the TV. So you are now Demi Moore watching it. Like it's no longer Demi Moore watching something on the screen and you see it on the screen. It's like you've entered into the screen. And it's just a really cool, like a pulley, like almost it was like how they zoomed in so clean and fast. It was so good. So I like it so far.
I've looked at a bunch of like behind the scenes stuff and they had to create, like they literally invented new ways to film things from this movie.
Yeah, this is an Oscar nom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can already see why. Even though the Oscars were weird this year, this definitely deserves some. I'm already at 20 minutes in, so
I think the makeup team won.
I think it did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Practical effect.
Anyway,
All right, here we go. Next 20. All right, so we have just gone another, I think, what, like 20, 30 minutes
25
in?
minutes, yeah.
And she has done the switch, which was the first really body morphing thing of her crawling out of her spine like that.
Also, it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No, the stitching up was kind of gruesome, but the whole scene of the eyeball coming in
my
and out was
gosh.
really, really cool. So once again, the practicalness of this is
I
cool.
think that might have been CGI, but
Yeah.
like the back, like that body
Yeah.
is like real. And I think they've added in like just some CGI moments just to, like with the
Clean it
movement
up,
and
right.
stuff.
Sure, yeah.
And we've been introduced to Sue, which is her younger self, but it's not her. It's a young woman, basically.
Yeah.
Because it's not,
It's not like
it's the perfect version of her body. So
yeah.
but it's like de-aging her, which obviously we can't do that in real life, so it's not the real Demi Moore, but
But it looks pretty close to what
Yeah.
Demi more look like. We talked about how she has that like really unique beauty. She has that like gap in her tooth, but her lips are like perfect and has like, so it's that very unique beauty that to me more offered to the 1990 world.
Yeah. There's a lot of nudity in this part.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, so much nudity.
Tell me, how'd you feel about it?
I mean, I'm like fine with watching Demi Moore be naked on the TV, but like if I were thinking about if I were doing this for me, I don't love being naked that much, so that would be very uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, the idea of her coming to set and being like, okay, Demi, you're going to writhe around on the ground right now. Like
Yeah.
you're being literally ripped in two and your body's just going to be on display on this white bathroom. It's really intimidating. And I'm glad that she had the balls to do it. Let's use a better word than balls because balls are weak.
The pussy.
The pussy to do it. I don't know if we could say that.
Oh.
But the fact that she's gone through this Hollywood
Bravery?
yeah. The bravery she has to put herself out there like that. I mean, we know that Demi Moore probably struggled with these kind of thoughts in Hollywood. Like this is a very common thing for a lot of women, especially if they're like popular in 1990s, 2000s of being like that perfect skinny, big boobed, tiny waist, you know, like that is what you had to have.
Yeah, I would even push to say this is what women deal with, period.
Yes.
Period.
Not just in Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But during that time period specifically, I think the idea of being like perfect for Hollywood, like now we're a little bit more body affirming, I would say, in the media. Like there is more pushing towards that. Well, I would say in the 1990s, it was like,
Yeah, it's do or don't. Like
Yeah,
if you have the body,
any
great.
singer,
If you're
any
not,
dancer, any actress,
out.
they all had to look perfect.
yeah.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, even like I would say Molly Ringwald was a good example of not classic beauty. Like she was never that like it girl, but she was really popular. So that you had some of those, but it was more like oddball out compared to like, oh, if you were Demi Moore or Britney Spears, right? All of those tiny, perfect women.
The straight hair.
But we were talking about how this new version of herself, Sue, she does have like a banging body.
Yeah.
Like good for her. I'm like,
Yeah.
one, I don't know if she's put effort into that, probably, but like,
Well, we were just like,
She's, like,
it's
30.
Obviously, it takes
Yeah.
effort, and that's what we were talking
Yeah.
about.
Kay was like, oh, Margaret Qualley's got to be like 23, 24. And I was like, nope, she's 30. She's born the same year that I was.
right. But to
So,
like have that kind of the actuality of having that body at the age of 30 is a difficult thing. So either
Absolutely.
she has,
it is a full-time job.
right, like she has, as an actress, a whole team of people that help her achieve that look though.
I also think, at least for me, might not be the same for you, but like watching her scene where she's like fully naked, I'm like sitting here, oh, I don't look like that at all.
Exactly.
And just like the pan like to her butt. I mean, she's got the perfect butt. I mean, it's gorgeous. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, there's no way she doesn't have any stretch marks. There's absolutely no way. But then I like check myself and I'm like, this is a movie.
Yeah, they
And-
probably cleaned it up a little.
Well, and then also like this is the point of it, right?
Right.
They want the people
Perfection.
that are watching to feel less than because that's right how they're selling the product.
Yeah, if
right?
I could do nothing and just crawl on my back and look like the perfect version of myself, the idea is actually appealing in a sense. You know what I mean? Like the idea of doing nothing but just waking up one morning and being perfect, not the really creepy crawling out of the back.
That's
No, I know.
painful.
But the idea of just like a switch is flipped and you're perfect. You're young, your ass is tight, your stomach is flat as can be, your boobs are nice and perky. Like these are all things that women deal with that are hard. Like you have babies, your boobs are no more. Like they're, and that's how it is.
No
like
more.
they're just
Or pancakes.
They're saggy unless you go and get some work done. It's really hard to get that lift again as age goes, as gravity hits. I mean, these are just the realities. And like Hollywood does tell us like, I mean, even us as females right now, we're looking up and we're like, even though Demi Moore is beautiful, we see this and we're like, oh, that's the perfect version of herself. That's what the
Yeah.
movie's trying to say. That's what we
Right.
are receiving.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just interesting because, you know, no shame to that actress. Like she looks amazing, right? It's just hard to achieve that kind of flawless beauty, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
hello.
yeah. To think about, like, even the fact that she's 30 years old as an actress, thinking about, like, all the things that she had to do even as a young person as she was, like, going through the aging process. Like, I have stretch marks that just happened
Does she have any
because
children?
I grew. Because I
Right.
literally just got taller, you know? And it's like, okay, like, what? How come she doesn't have any of that? How am I
And
supposed
she
to
probably
prevent
did.
that?
Because the thing is, like, and I also want to, like, I don't think there's any shame in plastic surgery or using something to make yourself, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there is, you can go into the world and be totally comfortable in your body as is and feel beautiful and still be like, but I would like a little lift, right? Like, I don't think when you do cosmetics or plastic surgery, you're like thinking you're less than. I think sometimes you just want to,
I think
I know I'm trying to
think
get
there's a
Botox in my
balance.
11s.
Yeah.
There's a balance in it, because if you are saying all plastic surgery and cosmetic surgery or anything is bad, then obviously that's wrong. But if you're also saying, oh, well, I only want to do this, there is that
there is a
balance in it.
balance. I just
Because there
think-
are some people who use it to cover up insecurity. And then there's other people who are just like, I fell off my bike and broke my nose when I was 10 years old, and I would like to not have a crick in my nose. Like,
Yeah.
can we get that fixed?
Yeah.
I mean, same thing with like trans people. Like if you
Yes.
don't affirm people and just like wanting to be who they truly want to be in that beauty, like you're essentially like saying that people who are transitioning are not valid.
right.
Yes.
Right?
When I think any kind of, that's what I was trying to say is I think a lot of times we as women are like, we can come across as like, if you get plastic surgery, you think we're all ugly. Like if you go and get a boob job or if you go and get some plastic surgery, you're saying you're not as beautiful as your original self. And it's like, so we can come aggressive against that. Like there's
Absolutely.
that push of being like, you know, like if I was like, I had 3 children, a tummy tuck where my skin could get flat would be really nice. Now on the other side, you have women that look at me and say, well, you should think your body's beautiful with all the birthmarks from having birth, right? And so you get that kind of polarizing, like,
Right.
well, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to feel just get over it and get comfortable with your body?
Yeah,
Or can
it's
I
interesting.
use cosmetics to,
Because, okay,
don't
so
know.
I sit here and say, like, I don't judge, I don't care. And if I hear of someone getting a nose job, a boob job, a tummy tuck, or whatever, like, my first inclination is to be like, well, why?
yeah,
Like,
I think mine is too.
you're like, you are perfect or whatever. But like when we dive deeper into that, it's so much more than that. We've had these conversations. Like you've had 3 children. Like if you told me that you wanted to get, what is it, the mommy makeover,
Yeah,
whatever
when
it is.
they do a little lift of your boobs and a little tuck of your stomach.
Yeah, like I wouldn't judge that because I know that has been something that has been so hard for you to carry, and it makes you feel less than. So why wouldn't you want, and not because you think that you're less than, but like if it makes you feel more comfortable in your skin, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, it's almost one of those things. It's like you look in the mirror and you can still say, yes, I think I'm beautiful after having all these babies. But wouldn't it be nice to kind of get back to that body that was before babies? Because you do sacrifice a lot to have kids. Like you sacrifice your body, it stretches, it grows, you get more stretch lines, you get hemorrhoids, you get all these stuff. And it's beautiful. I would never trade it for the body I had when I was 20.
You get the husband stitch.
Yeah, that's when but then it's like
Barf
the idea that
everywhere.
like you could be like, but I would, with some help, would be really nice to get my body a little bit back. And I think it's hard sometimes because like I remember approaching you guys thinking, oh, maybe they'll judge me if I say I want to get this, because that polarizing thing of women being like, you either have to love your body or you hate your body kind of idea, right?
Yeah. So I have done all of the research and weight loss and all of this stuff. And like a lot of people who lose a lot of weight, they still have like pounds of skin that they have
Right.
to get surgically removed. And like, that's not where you are at, obviously.
Pounds and pounds.
But like, there's something to be said that even if I was the weight that I was when I was in college, I still wouldn't look like how I looked in college because my skin is more stretchy.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. You would want to do something because your skin doesn't stretch back, and you
Right.
can't like actually do anything unless you get surgery.
And to say all this to our viewers, we're kind of, as you're listening, like wherever you are in your journey, just know that you are beautiful if you are chosen to do a plastic surgery to make your self-esteem better, or you're choosing to just own everything about your beautiful self. Just know like whatever path you're on is beautiful. I think that's what we're trying to say, because I think it has become so one way or the other that sometimes you get scared to say that you want to have plastic surgery, or you get scared to say that you think you're beautiful just the way you are. And I think this movie is about to teach us a lesson about it, I think. Shay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think this is just like another one of conversations about not just how we individually feel about our own individual bodies, but also how society makes us feel.
Oh, yeah.
That was the biggest takeaway for me, is just this societal norm. I mean, I feel like that is like honestly one of the things for me anyway. It's just like, why do I have to strive to be a size 0?
Right.
Like, why can't I just be a size 10 and be fine? Like,
Or why do I need a flat stomach?
Right.
Right.
Or even, I mean, I even think of the US, like the fact that our sizes in general are so wrong. Like, why can't I just do like men's pants, 30 inches, great, 30 inches, like, okay. And then obviously small, medium, large. Are you kidding me? Extra large, extra, extra large. Like, really?
You can have a like small
why?
0.20.
Like, why do we have to say small? Like, why do we have to say large?
Why is it
Why
like-
can't it just
yeah,
be
extra
size
small,
1,
or even-
size 2, size,
But the other thing is like, now that you said that out loud, like why isn't there like an extra small, and like a small 2? Like the only
Yeah.
thing that gets bigger is the extra large.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like it's not like a double medium or something.
Right. Like
that.
what? That doesn't even make sense.
And what you're saying right now too made me think specifically about the Bridgerton season that just came out with Penn, because
Yes.
what is the actress's name? Oh, we should look it up.
I have no idea.
Did you watch that season?
I haven't watched any Bridgerton.
Bridgerton.
Neither of you.
Justin, what is his name?
The first season.
Justin Bailey?
Jonathan Bailey.
Jonathan Bailey.
Oh my God, I love that man.
Love that.
I just
man.
know that he's in Bridgerton.
Okay,
That's all I know.
That makes me think about the newest season of Bridgerton with Nicola Coughlan. She dealt with this, and my broken mind even did it, which is awful to say. Like as I was looking, I was like, oh, the next season is going to be like Penelope, which I didn't like Penelope's character, so I think that's a point why I was not excited about her season.
Yes.
But a lot of people were upset because you're watching Bridgerton, you want sexy and blah blah blah, and for some reason
Colin was an asshat.
yeah, and Colin was an asshat. This season was great though. But you're like, for some reason our brains broken and go like, this isn't gonna be sexy. But it was so sexy.
It was
She
so
like
steamy.
I loved it because it was just her body, and she like owned it so much. Like I don't know how she felt inside, but on screen it was like, I don't look like your typical Bridgerton star. I have rolls and I have skin and curves, and I'm going to be just as beautiful as the other girls. And she owned that, and it made me almost be like, it's so weird that my brain immediately thought that this wasn't going to be sexy.
It's not
and but it's not weird, but it's like I hate that we are trained that way.
Yes, exactly. We are programmed this way, which is so crazy. But I was telling my students this the other day, talking about how people on the screen have to look a certain way. There is a standard of beauty that everyone is expected to be. But on the stage, it's a little different because, first of all, people are a lot further away. You don't have to be as like perfect in your casting. But I talked a little bit about how when you go and watch a movie or a TV show, I think Hollywood is starting to go down this route. I don't think they're completely there yet, but I love the Bridgerton thing because people don't want to go and watch something that they don't see themselves in.
Right.
Any sort of media like this, through theater, through movies, whatever, they're all meant to be stories about us, who we are, humanity. If you're watching something and all you see is this drop dead gorgeous, super hard to achieve human being, you're like, yes, I'm interested in it, and this is beautiful because I'm curious. I have a morbid curiosity of how gorgeous and beautiful you somehow are. Yeah. But like when you start to see things that have people that just look like regular human beings, you feel more invested in them because you see you.
Right.
And that's when it's more impactful.
And there is the opposite of sometimes when you want to escape, though. I think
True.
media can be one or the other. Like, a lot of times when we're reading our books, you do become the character you're reading, right? You kind of see yourself. I saw one TikToker say, when I'm reading about Favor and Rhysand, it's Kay and Rhysand, right? It's like I'm standing there and he's talking to me that way. And books are a lot easier to like, you're like, okay. Books are a lot easier to put yourself into those feet, you know? So, and I think that's why we love literature, is because like you put yourself into this like fantastical creature or this person. Movies are a little bit harder. Sometimes I think we escape into them because we're like, I want to be an Avatar or an X-Men or something unbelievable that like I can jump into. I think what you're saying is very true, but I also think there is an escapism to media.
And
Yeah, true.
I will say, like, being a plus size woman, it's been really cool to watch media and movies and shows and everything evolve with the times, because like there's a song, oh my gosh, I'm totally gonna mess it up. I think it's called Fat Funny Friend. You guys should give it a listen. It speaks so heavily to how I felt for so long. And it's all about how, like, in movies, in shows, the person who is usually the plus size person or the curvy person, they're beautiful, but they're usually the comedic relief.
Ooh, like the Sleepover movie. Do you remember the Sleepover movie?
Yes.
No. What?
Oh, they'll make you so angry.
I remember The Bridesmaids.
Yep.
Melissa McCarthy's character.
Yes.
I mean, granted,
Pitch
Kristen Wiig
Perfect.
was hilarious too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Rebel
Oh
Wilson.
my God,
yeah.
that was that fucking.
yeah, Pitch
But I mean, the
Perfect.
great example is the Sleepover movie when it's like all these girls and there's that one friend and she is literally that symbolism of that movie.
Yes.
What is that one movie that's literally called that? It's like
The Duff.
The Duff. Yeah. Designated ugly fat friend.
And I was gonna.
That movie is actually really good because it shows that like.
But okay, what's absolutely fucking ridiculous? Yeah, I know. Don't say it. Don't say it, because then you're gonna give away something. What's absolutely fucking ridiculous,
Sorry,
and
you're
I'm
not that. You're not.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
Oh,
We're just. I'm so sorry. We're
Yes. No.
I just didn't want you to say my last name.
No, I understand, but we're like both be like, but we're like pointing at you.
Yeah.
I know.
No.
Do you know how long I had to live with that complex?
Oh my gosh.
That
I'm
movie came
so
out when we were in college. I was the designated ugly fat friend.
No, you weren't.
No, you
Anyways,
weren't. No, you weren't.
But what is
Brandon was.
But what's so
I hope he hears that.
I hope
Hate
so.
that guy. I mean, sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
back to that movie.
Yes.
What is so fucking ridiculous is the girl who's supposed to be the Duff. She is not.
Is literally not.
Oh yeah, at all.
And-
She's
but-
actually
beautiful.
crazy.
But in the movie, it like also says like it doesn't mean you have to be fat, because she's like, I'm not even fat or whatever, which is true.
It's like the ugliest person in your group.
Yeah.
Which
Oh
in-
yeah, it's Mae Whitman.
yeah, Wayne.
Yes.
Yeah.
Freaking love her.
It's the idea that there's one person in your group that isn't as attractive as the other ones.
Yeah.
Which is like, I think what I like about that movie is the character's journey to figure out that she is beautiful. She has
Yes.
to accept herself. Like, have you not seen it? You should.
No, I've not seen
Okay,
it.
you
so.
need to watch it.
Okay, we're gonna keep watching.
Yes, we're gonna watch.
because it's 8:30,
And there's a
we have
tornado
an hour
watch
left,
right now, by the way.
and I have to look at 5 a.m.
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
All right, we are back. We've probably watched 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, hour left still.
Which
That's a
I
lot,
also
lot.
I feel like there's an hour left, but I feel like they're also like a
Wrapping
ton
it
has
up.
happened.
Yeah.
But I also feel like not a lot has happened.
It's an interesting concept now. We are switching to where it's almost like two people now, because the younger self is constantly taking away from the older self. And when the older self comes back, she's really angry, but she won't like stop the process. She has the power to stop it, but she doesn't. And we've seen now what the consequences are of taking more time.
Yes. And so I think the first time was a genuine pushing of the boundary, right? But then the younger self didn't realize that
What the consequences actually were going to be. Right?
exactly, which and then it makes me think, I mean, they can communicate, they can leave each other notes, they can do whatever. Then this next time she really abused that power and kept taking and kept taking and kept taking, and then when
And the consequences that like part of you becomes super elderly, like to the
Yes.
point of like
Yeah.
decrepit. And I also think though in that they are the same person though.
Yes.
That is the thing you have to, because like it's presenting itself as two people and the balance between that. But in the end, when she's her younger self, it's not like she's locked away. She is that person.
Right.
She's living that experience.
She is having those memories, those pleasures, everything. And it's like she only gets mad when she has to go back into that like now decaying body. Because it's not like the younger self is abusing the older self. She's abusing herself. Like it's herself, right? It's really twisted.
I know. So Demi Moore wakes up and she is feeling very down about herself and everything. And she goes and finds the phone number of the guy who...
The creepy guy.
Yeah, who was in her 10th grade homeroom class or whatever. And she calls him and is like, hey, can we get drinks? Can we do whatever? And he's just like, I'm in shock. You're the most beautiful woman ever, of course. And then before she goes to leave, she's getting ready and she looks beautiful. She's wearing a red dress. Her makeup looks nice. She just looks stunning.
Yeah.
And then she goes to close the door for her younger self and she looks at her and that's where we just start going downhill. And then
she can't leave. She just, like, it's more and more, the image is getting distorted.
And it's just so heartbreaking because like I can think of one friend specifically that is really reminding me of this, that they genuinely can't see themselves the way that the world sees them. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
that looking in that mirror and like being like, if only I could just look different, right? Like not everything about you is wrong. And that image of her pulling up her makeup on her face, she's like wiping away the red lipstick, which we've all had that experience. It's the worst. But like, and it's just going up and up, almost like the Joker smile. And then she starts like beating herself and pulling her hair. Like I was like, she's about to rip her skin off. Right? I was like, this is the body morphia part. Like I'm actually pretty sure this is going to happen later. Anyways, that's just my theory. She's going to like look in the mirror and rip her. Yeah, it's a foreshadowing of her like ripping off her older face.
One thing that I think is really interesting about this scene is that you see after she gets done, like putting her makeup on, there is a look of satisfaction, right?
Yeah.
Like she looks in the mirror and she's like,
I look good.
I look good.
yes.
And then as soon as she leaves, she sees this massive billboard of her other self.
And she does not look like that.
And she is like, every time it happened, I just heard, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. Going back to the bathroom, redoing it. I think it's what makes it really powerful is because I think all of us at one point or another have experienced this moment where we're feeling
Confident,
good about ourselves.
And then get deflated so easily.
And that deflation happens and it's like, why?
And I think it's so interesting. So I do this every time you're getting ready, you do your stuff, you do your makeup, and you're like, oh, this isn't good enough or whatever. You wipe it all off and you do it again. And it is worse.
Yes.
It is never better.
That's my hair journey when you're like putting your hair in buns and you're like, the first time you're like, eh. 35th time you're like, why does this look so bad?
It's so frustrating. And the more that you try, the more... I don't know. I think that can be kind of said in this scenario as well. But
I agree.
When the less that you're trying and the more you're just being yourself.
You. Yep.
Well, and the angle they used with the fluorescent light and the angle of the mirror, it was weird because at first she looked good and then she looked awful. Like the camera angle of her walking to the door, you're like, girl, you look banging. But like in the mirror, you're like, oh no, your makeup's too much. That blush is in the wrong spot. I don't know what they did there, but it made me uncomfortable.
Yes.
And then like it looked different in the mirror than it looked in. I know, it's just crazy.
They did such a good job with it because it really does capture that experience. I don't want to necessarily say female experience, but like the experience of trying so hard and not reaching the expectation or the expectation that you think other people have for you or that you have for yourself. I mean, it's just done. It's done so well.
Well, and the missing out on an opportunity because you can't love yourself.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, Lou's got to leave. She's got work really early and
My day job is calling me.
But me and Shay are going to watch the last hour of this movie and then kind of give an end cap at the end of this and how we feel. And I think we kind of hit home like earlier in this movie about what this is all about and kind of dived into that. So I think it's just really wrapping it up and seeing how they end the story.
Yeah,
is
I'm
it going to
excited
be
to
morbid?
see-
Is it going to be disgusting? Is it going to
Yeah.
be like they both blow up? I don't know. But it's just, I think she's going to drain her dry. I think the younger self is just going to die because she has literally like a raisin sucked everything out of the older self.
Yeah. I'm excited.
One
to
cannot
watch
exist without the other. Dun, dun, dun. Am I right? I don't know.
We'll see. I'm excited to see if Kay's mind's blown at the end.
Ooh, I'm excited.
I'm excited to finish it, and
Yeah, Lou's
if
gonna
there's time, I will
chime
give you
in.
a blurb.
Yes.
For what my thoughts for the last 55 minutes were.
Sounds good, Lou. All right, let's finish this. What the actual F did I just watch? I am so uncomfortable with that ending. Okay.
What would have been your preferred ending?
Okay, so like basically I was right in a sense, the younger self literally like takes vials and vials and vials and vials of the spine juice, whatever it is.
Spinal fluid.
And it's like 3 months later. So when she wakes up, girl's gonna be not okay.
Yeah.
And finally the younger self has to like give in. And so she wakes up, realizes what's happened, tries to kill her younger self, stops halfway through killing her younger self, and then they both wake up. And it's almost like that split finally happens. Mm-hmm. And the younger self is pissed. Yeah. Younger self, rightfully so, pissed that the older self tried to kill her, and she beats the older self in the mirror. Oh my, and then kicks her. Like that was.
This is the ultimate, like, actual depiction of beating yourself up.
Yeah, it was like, and the older self were like, when listening to the younger self, hated how she sounded fake and phony on TV. Like,
Yeah.
it was, but I mean, like had to, once again, this last bit, very, very graphic. So
If you have trouble with,
we'll try to not
gore and
explain
stuff like
everything,
that,
but I mean, it was just very, very gory.
the ending is a choice.
The ending is a choice. If you want to stop because my mind was, so she beats her older self to death, and then she starts herself to start falling apart. So like all those icky things like teeth and nails maybe not being a part of your body anymore happen. And it's really, like, that's that first moment I was like, this is about to get really, really weird. Mm-hmm. Like this is about, and like, and so I'm like looking at Shay and I'm like, no, not the nails. Oh my gosh, not the teeth. And I was like, no. Oh my God.
The interesting thing, I think, is like this whole end part to me, it's, I guess the best way to frame it is a depiction of the extreme. Like what happens when you go to the extreme. Also, I want to just name that it's 3 months later and it's the night before Sue is supposed to do the New Year's Eve
so it's her big show.
thing. So this is her big show. It's like national television versus just her little morning show. So like this is a big deal. And then that's when everything starts to really fall apart after she kills the Matrix.
Yeah, she
right?
drains herself dry. It's the fact that she
literally beats herself to death.
And then starts to fall apart. So she's like, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll remake myself again.
Right.
Right. So she uses the last of the serum, even though it says single use only.
Discard.
And
after use.
And I was like, right now, either it's going to repeat the cycle and another beautiful self's going to step out, or something disgusting is about to. This is the only two routes this can happen. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you see this disgusting looking monster with like the younger self, Demi Moore on the back. I think it's also the younger self combined with the older self on her face. There's like teeth everywhere.
This is Monstro Elisa Sue. So
it's so disturbing. I was like, literally,
there's teeth and tits everywhere.
Yeah, always smile. Those tits are great.
Yep.
Those comments that kept on playing.
Yep.
And this thing, I was like, Shay, how much longer do I have to look at this thing? Because I'm disturbed.
Yeah, I gotta say the makeup team did a fabulous job.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
It's so gross, but it's so, I mean, they do it in a way that's really realistic looking. It's so crazy.
And then how it ends, I'm not even going to try to describe the ending of this movie, because not only was one hand over my mouth, both my hands were over my mouth as I'm watching this moment like happen. And I'm just keep on saying to Shay, what the F is happening? I'm not joking. Like, I'm not even going to try. Like, you guys just go look up the ending of anything if you're curious. It's palpably.
My favorite part was, why isn't anyone screaming? And then immediately someone started screaming in the audience and you were like, thank you.
This monster's on stage like, hi, it's me. What is that meme? It's like, I'm in here. It's me, Sally. I'm in here. Or whatever. So when you're like talking to your old self.
Oh, okay.
You know that meme?
No, it's me, Jessica. Not that one.
Maybe that one.
That hot chick.
But
I mean, she was inside of Rob Schneider's body.
Yeah, I'm in here. You know,
Yeah.
But this monster thing comes up and tries to talk, and then they like kill the beast. Like literally, I was like, kill the beast. And then this gruesome, like literally, okay. If you've seen The Shining and the elevator full of red liquid that pours out into the hallway, if you know what I'm talking about,
there's
that
definitely
plus Carrie,
yeah,
plus that guy from the Goonies, the hey you guys,
I'm Chunk.
Yes, that baby Ruth. This is Chunk. Yes. On stage.
Well, I guess his name's not Chunk. He loves Chunk.
I think that's his name.
No, he says, I love you, Chunk. I said it wrong.
Oh, you're right. What's his name?
I don't even remember.
What is his name?
It's gotta be Francis.
Yeah, but what do they call him?
Francis. No. Chunk is the guy, is the kid. What else
did I call him? Because there's another name. He says, I'm, and he uses a one syllable.
Wait, is it Sloth?
Sloth, yes.
Oh, it's Sloth.
Okay, so if you take Sloth from the Goonies plus Carrie plus the Shining elevator scene, you have the end of this movie. Yes. There's your visualization of what just happened. This movie was very, very interesting. I think it gave us a lot to think about. And like Shay said, to the extreme. It's like taking that boundary and then you already pushed it a little bit. So why not just push it all the way?
As we got to the end, it really unlocked what you said earlier about like how people, especially as women, like if we get plastic surgery, if we get Botox, stuff like that, like people are like, oh, well, you're not natural. You know, like we immediately judge others who do something like that. But like, how many times, and I feel like even now in our society, like how many times have we gone to like, oh, you got a little bit done. We love you. It's great. It's fine. Like, and we can't tell, like it's very natural. So it's like, it's fine. You're great. But then there's like other people who push it to the extreme
and have
get a lot of surgery done. And then you're like, oh my God, you look horrible.
Right.
But why are they getting it done?
They've already been told that they're horrible.
Exactly. They're trying to become this vision of what society thinks they should be. Right. And once they push it to that level, society's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, and I think that's when your sloth character comes in, the monster person. It's like she's already the most perfect version of herself.
Exactly.
Right? And yet she wants something more perfect. And that's when the monster comes out. That's when you like push the envelope too far.
I even think too, like think about the metaphor of like your inside beauty versus your outward beauty, right? Like a lot of people are like, oh, well, you're not going to be beautiful on the outside unless you're beautiful on the inside. And maybe like Demi Moore's character at the beginning, that was her beauty shining from the outside. But at the core, Sue, Margaret Qualley's character, was not beautiful on the inside because she used up every single drop of the previous. So when it came out.
Well, in the sloth version of herself too, like that whole scene when she's like putting the earrings in and curling her, she like thinks she's beautiful.
Right.
Like as the most disgusting version of herself is like okay with it, which is a weird take that they
and even like has this imagining of like people opening the door like, you're so beautiful. We've been waiting for you.
Yeah, it was really twisted.
Yeah.
And also like the what the F factor at the end is unbelievable. So if you like those moments in movies, like I said, The Shining feels that way. Like when The Shining ends, you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like when all the stuff that happens, you're like, you just sit there and you're like, I don't even know. I don't even know what just happened. If you like those kind of movies when the endings are crazy, you're going to love this. Demi Moore did fantastic.
Margaret Qualley.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Dennis Quaid for being a complete asshole the whole time.
Right.
Good. I mean, he
Every time I
gave
look
that
at Dennis
villain.
Quaid, I was like, dang it, that's the dad from Parent Trap.
Yeah.
How the heck is he mean?
Yeah, he's not. It's just
Or
this
is he?
versions of himself. I don't think he would because he chose to play that character.
True. But he did a really fabulous job.
Yeah. Anyone who's like,
made him
yeah,
look
I'll
so
play an asshole of a
disgusting.
man. I
They
got
made
this.
him look so
Oh,
disgusting.
Yeah, they gave him the camera angles in the teeth. Ugh. Anyways, guys, we loved doing this movie again. Hopefully, I don't know if we should tell Lou to finish this movie. She doesn't like body morphia, and that ending was like, no, we should make her watch it. Yeah.
I would love to know what she thinks
I know.
about the end.
Hey, so this is Kay catching Lou up on what happened at the end of The Substance. This is a tiny little mic I'm using, so that's why the quality is different. But Lou, are you ready for what is about to happen?
I honestly don't think I am. I have no idea where this is going to go.
It goes somewhere. And it's a little bit dark. And I'm a little scared to tell you. Okay, so the last thing you saw was she came back like the second time. This time she looks like the evil witch from
Very scary.
Snow White. And she's like hair crazy and she's like yelling at the TV.
Yes.
Okay, so the next thing that happens is the younger version of herself decides that she doesn't want to ever switch again. So she basically just takes every container she has in the house and fills it up with the juicies over and over again. And then it says 3 months later. So she's been doing this for 3 months.
Oh, God.
Okay, so think about the extra day
Mm-hmm.
and then think about, what was it, like only a few days extra?
Yeah.
So the next day was the New Year's ball thing that she got.
Mhm.
All right. So excited for. So she goes to get some more juice. And at this point, she's not even using like the container. She's just going in there. And you saw how gross that was. The idea of her just,
Yep.
She takes some and it's black. And she's like, what's wrong? And she's already starting to have a nosebleed. So she goes and she calls the number and they're like, well, you've dried her out. The only way to get more is to switch back. And you're like, oh crap, that's going to be disgusting. So she does. And it's like Sloth from the Goonies.
Yeah.
Huge, disgusting, like creature.
Oh my God.
It's her face still, but she has like literally like a
Yeah.
hunchback.
Ugh.
And she's like screaming and she's like, calls the number and says, I want to end it. And they're like, if you end it, you don't get to choose it back. Like it's done. And then she's like, I don't care. So she puts on these layers. She goes to the drop box and gets this thing, drags her younger self out and stabs her with it. But as she's doing it, like, and injecting the stuff,
Uh-huh.
she's like, I don't want this, and doesn't inject her fully. So she's sitting there. So she grabs the thing, more juice of herself and stabs her younger self. And all of a sudden, her younger self and her older self are both alive at the same time. And they have this like beef off, but basically it's just the younger self smacking the shit out of the older self to the point where like the whole house is drenched in blood.
Ooh.
It's like
Yeah.
kicking her over and over again. So older self is dead.
No.
Younger self's like, I'm going to go do this. So she goes, but she starts feeling weird. Her hearing starts going away. And she like runs to the bathroom and all of a sudden her teeth start evacuating her mouth. And it's really, really gross.
Oh my
And you're like,
gosh.
okay. And then her nails.
No.
Yep. So that really gross, like,
Ugh.
ugh, yeah. And her ear falls off. So she's like decaying, right? Because her older self,
Yeah.
the
Because
source.
her source.
Yeah. Well, one cannot exist without the other,
Yeah.
which has been told to us. So she's freaking out. She goes back to her house and she
Just gonna casually drive home
Yeah.
with no ears.
bye. She gets back home and in the cabinet, you see the only use once restart your life serum that she started the whole journey with.
Mhm.
And there's like a little bit left.
Mhm.
So she's like, I just need a newer version of me, one more. And she stabs herself with it and injects. And the whole thing happens again with the bursting out of the back, whatever. And
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
like, It's disgusting. It has like multiple teeth growing from it. Her literally Demi Moore's face is like on the back, like a big bubble. She has like, this is like the real sloth. Like this is like, it's like really, really, really creepy. But this thing like thinks she's beautiful. And she's like curling the one strand of hair she has and putting on lipstick. She puts back on the dress that she was originally wearing. It's like a Cinderella gown. And it's so weird. You're watching this thing. You're like, at this point, I'm scared about what's about to happen. Mm-hmm. So she goes to her show as this thing and comes out and is like, it's me. And they're all like quiet, staring at her. And then they don't start doing like kill the beast kind of thing. And they come up and they start smacking her. Oh my and then they slice off her head. And then you're like, what is happening? And then for the next, I'm not joking, like 5 minutes, she's spinning in the middle of the stage while her, you know, like a fire hydrant of red substance carries everybody, right? Okay. So you're like,
you have a wonderful way with words.
Thank you. And you're like, is this going to end? Nope. We're slipping. We're falling. We're covered in red. She's like, peace. She leaves. She's running. She falls. She falls into a million pieces. And then all of a sudden, that big old Demi Moore face is like an alien and it's scooting. Like a big piece of skin.
What is this movie?
Goes over to her star where the whole thing started and dies on the star. And the star gets cleaned. And that's how the movie ends.
I'm very, very glad I had to go to work really early the next morning because I don't know that I could have watched that.
I had like nightmares. Yeah. Because it was just disturbing. To each their own. The funniest thing is Shay was like, I forgot that's how the movie ended. And I was like, did you block it out? Then why did you make me watch this movie?
Because honestly, everything to the point that I watched was great. Like I felt like the lessons were there. It's talking about people being obsessed with vanity and what they look like and everything. And all boiling down to so much greed and wanting all of that. And so great lessons up to that point. And I'm kind of glad I missed out on. Yeah.
Basically, it was like the director gave the message. You're like, yes, womanhood, and then he was like, now let's fuck up the end. Let's just see what we can do to push the bar and get nominated for an Oscar because they did.
Anyways, guys, we love you. We're gonna do our tarot pool
We'll leave that in the bottom bar.
And we hope you enjoyed this. The light in me sees the light in you.
Bye, witchlings.
My voice sounds horsey.
Nay.
You said your voice horsey.
You took the mic to say nay? Okay. All right. So that's where we are at the night.